Did you know that in other countries, corrupt officials don't just end up in jail, but sometimes even pay with their lives? While the debate in the Philippines is heated about whether the death penalty should be reinstated, there are some countries in the world that have long taken a hardline approach to corruption in government. From firing squad to lethal injection, let's get to know the top 6 countries that have the death penalty for corruption cases and find out just how strict their laws really are. But before we start, if you're new to our channel, make sure to subscribe so you'll always be updated with videos like this. Indonesia. They say corruption is a theft that doesn't spill blood. But in this country, in Indonesia, there's a law that proves the life of a corrupt official can also be the price to pay. Welcome to our series where we go through selected countries around the world that have the death penalty for corruption. And for our first episode, we'll break down the unique situation of Indonesia, which opens our final list for the series. If you open their official book of laws, particularly Article 2 of Law Number 31 from the year 1999 regarding corruption eradication, it states there that corrupt officials can be sentenced to death. Whenever there is a major financial scandal, the public often demands that this highest punishment be used. But despite the intense anger of the people, why is it that there are no reports of corrupt officials being executed there? The big secret is that this law has extremely strict conditions before it can actually be used in court. According to the law, the death penalty can only be imposed if the crime of corruption or embezzlement was committed under what are called certain circumstances or particular situations. This means it must be proven that public funds were squandered while the country was experiencing a severe national disaster, a serious economic crisis, or under other exceptional circumstances specified by law. Because of this very strict standard, throughout the history of modern Indonesia, not a single official has actually been executed for stealing government funds. When it comes to corruption, the death penalty has never been carried out under Article 2. Paragraph 2. The national agency KPK continues to go after corrupt individuals, but the highest penalties usually handed down are life imprisonment, asset forfeiture, and heavy fines. In recent years, executions in the country have mainly been associated with serious violations of the laws against illegal drugs. This has become even more unclear now because their new criminal code, or KUIC, has been implemented. Under this new system, the death penalty has become just a last option or an alternative punishment. Anyone sentenced to this is still given a 10-year probation period to change their behavior. If it is proven that the accused has shown good behavior, the court may convert the death penalty to life imprisonment or another sentence allowed by law if the legal conditions are met. Indonesia is proof that strict laws on paper are useless if their conditions are too difficult to implement in real life. It remains merely as a threat to all officials who are currently in office. Morocco. From the continent of Asia, let's now fly to the continent of Africa to visit the Kingdom of Morocco. Morocco is known as a country with a very beautiful culture and a popular tourist destination for people from around the world. But behind the beautiful scenery and historic buildings, they have a unique law regarding the death penalty that is connected to corruption and bribery. Under their general criminal code, simple bribery or accepting bribes by ordinary government officials is usually punished only with a fine, suspension from work, and several years of imprisonment. But there is an extremely severe, serious, and specific exception where bribery can lead to the harshest sentence the court can impose. According to the existing law in Morocco, if a judge or any other person directly involved in the justice process is proven to have accepted a bribe to distort the truth, and that wrongful decision directly causes an innocent person to be sentenced to death and ultimately executed, the corrupt official who accepted the bribe can also be sentenced to death. This means that under this principle, the official's own life will be the ultimate price for the life taken because of his corruption and greed. This is a very strict law aimed at protecting the integrity of their entire justice system against those who sell verdicts. Although this strict provision remains in their law books, its actual implementation is very different in real life. Morocco is considered one of the countries with a long history of not implementing the death penalty. In fact, there have been no recorded executions of the death penalty in Morocco for any type of crime since 1993. In modern corruption cases today, judges more commonly impose imprisonment and other severe legal penalties. Officials caught in major scandals of theft or corruption of funds nowadays are only sentenced to long years in prison and permanent ban from government service. Morocco shows that the death penalty is not used for ordinary corruption, but is reserved only for situations where corruption has caused the death of another person. This law remains as a strong warning that the power to uphold justice should not be played with or put a price on. From the de facto abolitionist countries, let us now move to the Middle East region to examine the next country on our list, the Islamic Republic of Iran. Here in Iran, our series officially enters the countries with very clear laws and an actual history of executions for crimes related to major financial corruption and abuses involving national wealth. Under their legal system based on Islamic jurisprudence, there is a very serious crime called Emof said FLRs, or in English, corruption on earth. This is a major crime that refers to acts causing severe harm to the society, economy, or national security of the state. In addition, in 1990, their government also passed a specific and serious law called the Law on Punishment of Disruptors of the Economic System. Under these laws, people proven to be involved in large-scale economic crimes, such as organized financial fraud, large-scale manipulation of the foreign exchange market, smuggling of gold or dollars, or other acts causing severe harm to the country's economy may face the death penalty if their revolutionary court considers their actions to constitute Mof-said FLRs, or corruption on earth. Iran's law is not just a simple threat on paper. It is actually enforced in some cases of major economic crimes that the authorities there consider as a direct threat to national stability and peace. In real life, there are documented and modern cases where some well-known businessmen, powerful financial operators, and leaders of illegal organizations who were proven to be running massive money laundering syndicates, large-scale financial fraud, and other economic crimes were ultimately sentenced to death, and their executions were carried out in accordance with the law. Iran shows that when your personal greed reaches a level that it can bring down the livelihood of an entire society, cause severe inflation, and put national security at risk, their courts will not hesitate to take your life as the highest punishment of the state. In the next part, we will move on to number 3. A country also located in Asia that is known worldwide for its aggressive imposition of the death penalty for similar crimes involving financial offenses and embezzlement of public funds. Vietnam. From the Middle East, let us return to the Southeast Asian region to discuss number 3 on our list, the Socialist Republic of Vietnam. As a communist country, Vietnam has some of the strictest and harshest laws in the world against crimes related to finance and public funds. Under their official penal code,
particularly in Article 353 and Article 354,
the crimes of embezzlement or large-scale misappropriation of public funds and accepting bribes in certain cases specified by law may be punishable by death. This highest penalty, which is carried out by lethal injection, may be imposed by the court if the amount of money involved reaches or exceeds the threshold of 1 billion Vietnamese dong or more, or if the crime has caused even more serious damage to the national interests of the state. But the legal system in Vietnam has a unique provision regarding what is called leniency, or the reduction of penalties. According to their law, if an official or individual sentenced to death in an embezzlement case voluntarily returns at least 75% of the total amount of money they stole and cooperates with the authorities to reveal others involved in the corruption scheme, their death sentence may be reduced or commuted by the court to life imprisonment instead. The government made this law to make it easier for the state to recover the lost wealth and properties of the nation from the hands of those who took advantage. In real life, Vietnam actually implements this law without sparing anyone under their well-known anti-corruption campaign called Blazing Furnace. There are documented and modern cases in the current decade where high-ranking officials of state-owned enterprises, heads of major banks, and even some very famous and well-known billionaire businessmen have been sentenced to death by their courts due to massive embezzlement, accepting bribes, and other huge economic crimes that shook their financial system. Vietnam shows that their government is serious about punishing crimes that damage the national finances and the trust of foreign investors. In the next part, we will move on to number 2, a country that is especially known for using the death penalty under a very secretive and controversial administration. Type your thoughts below. Do you think the death penalty should also be reinstated in the Philippines for those who steal billions from the national treasury? Don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe to Noel Polo TV for our next deep dive into the truth. North Korea from Vietnam. Let's move to the East Asian region to discuss number 2 on our list. The Democratic People's Republic of Korea, or as many know it, North Korea. When it comes to this country, there are so many extraordinary stories, speculation, and rumors that often spread on the internet and various social media platforms. However, when it comes to real legal matters and the imposition of the death penalty, extreme caution and scrutiny are needed due to the severe lack of official public information coming directly from their own government. According to official reports and documents from the United Nations and various human rights organizations around the world, the use of the death penalty remains active in North Korea, although the information released by their government about the cases and their exact legal basis is limited. In documented studies and research conducted by foreign legal experts, death penalties reported to be related to corruption are often not made public as ordinary cases of corruption. Instead, these executions are usually linked or associated with serious charges by the state, such as anti-state activities, treason, espionage, and other grave political offenses that the authorities there consider a major threat to the stability of their current government. According to numerous reports from organizations monitoring human rights abroad, these executions are often carried out by a firing squad. There have been reports of high-profile cases in recent times where some high-ranking officials of their military or even the party itself were executed after being accused of involvement in major economic crimes, serious corruption, or cases directly related to national security. However, due to the lack of transparency, the absence of formal and open public trials, and the lack of a free press in the city of Pyongyang, it is difficult to independently verify the full details, the evidence, and the exact legal process that these cases went through. North Korea shows that although there are reports of executions of corrupt officials, the line between actual economic crimes and political punishment remains extremely blurred for foreign observers. In our next segment here on Noel Polo TV, we will move on to number 1, which is considered the most organized and has the clearest system of punishing corruption cases in the world. Type your opinions below about how you feel regarding this system. Don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe to Noel Polo TV for our final and most intense episode. China from North Korea. Let's move on to the country considered to have the largest and most organized system of punishing corrupt officials in the world, the People's Republic of China, which is the final country and the one at the top of our list here on Noel Polo TV. Under the general criminal law of the People's Republic of China, including the important changes implemented through the 9th Amendment in 2015, the crimes of embezzlement or misappropriation of public funds and bribery or accepting bribes can be punishable by death. According to an important judicial interpretation jointly issued by the Supreme People's Court and the Supreme People's Procuratorate in 2016, this highest penalty, carried out by lethal injection and in some rare cases by firing squad, can be imposed if the amount of money involved reaches the threshold of 3 million yuan or more. which is considered an especially huge amount, or if the crime is proven to have caused extremely serious harm to the interests of the state and the people. However, Chinese law has a unique legal mechanism called the death penalty with a 2-year reprieve. Under this system, a corrupt official sentenced to death is first given a 2-year reprieve while being imprisoned. If within these 2 years it is proven that he did not commit any further offenses, showed genuine remorse for his crimes, and actively cooperated with the government to expose other corruption, the court may commute or change his sentence to life imprisonment if the conditions set by law are met. China is among the countries with the highest reported number of executions in the world, although the exact number each year is still considered by the government as a strict state secret. These punishments are often carried out under their national anti-corruption campaign, famously known as the Hunt for Tigers and Flies. This means that their Central Commission for Discipline Inspection spares no one, from the highest government and military officials called tigers to the lower-level employees and staff in the provinces known as flies. There are documented and serious cases where some high-ranking officials and heads of large state-owned companies were ultimately sentenced to death and executed after being proven guilty of massive corruption that damaged the national economy. Here we see the harshest side of China's iron hand when it comes to safeguarding public funds. Type your thoughts below if you think this kind of harsh system is effective in completely eradicating greed. Hit like, share the video, and make sure you're subscribed to Noel Polo TV for our upcoming in-depth, fact-based research on laws around the world. That concludes our discussion on the 6 countries in the world that have laws on the death penalty for corruption. From these 6, we have proven that only 4 really have laws with real bite in modern times: China, Vietnam, Iran, and North Korea, while the remaining ones keep it only as an empty threat on paper. But if we look at the whole truth, you'll notice that even in the strictest countries, the death penalty is not imposed for ordinary bribery or petty theft. It is only imposed when the greed of an official or businessman reaches a level that can destroy the livelihood of the whole society, threaten national security, and cause great harm to the state. Now that you know the truth, this is the last question I will leave with you. When it comes to fighting corruption in the government, is harsh punishment such as, is death really the solution to make those in power afraid? Or is a stronger system of oversight, transparency, and equal laws for the rich and poor truly the key to protecting the nation's treasury? Type your thoughts below. You can expect that I will read your opinions. If you like this video and you value this kind of deep and genuine research, hit the like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to Noel Polo TV. Don't forget to tap the bell icon so you'll always be updated whenever we release new videos. Here on Noel Polo TV, we don't just listen passively. We analyze, investigate, reveal, and search for the truth. Thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned for our next showdown in the next video.